Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Quarter Dollar Coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and misunderstood coins in American numismatic history, the 1964 Lincoln penny, a coin that came from a time of massive economic change, cultural transformation, and historic shifts inside the United States. Mint, and this episode is designed as a complete, professional documentary style journey that can easily support a 2-hour-long video as we explore why this penny matters, how it was made, what was happening in America at the time, why collectors still search for it today, and how certain varieties and conditions can make it far more valuable than most people realize. The 1964 Lincoln penny was struck during a period when America was standing at a crossroads between the post-war industrial boom and the coming economic pressures that would soon force major changes in U.S. coinage the nation was still using. Traditional copper alloy, compositions for cents made primarily of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc, and this was before the dramatic copper shortages that would later lead to experimental compositions and eventually the zinc-based cents of the 1980s, the Lincoln cent design, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had by 1964 become a familiar everyday object, carried by millions, yet behind that familiarity was a complex minting process, driven by demand, inflation, population growth, and the rapid expansion of commerce. In 1964, the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver were operating at extremely high output levels as coin shortages were a serious national concern. Americans were saving coins, pulling silver from circulation, and hoarding cents and nickels out of fear that metal values would rise further. This hoarding behavior pushed the mint to produce billions of coins, and the Lincoln penny was at the center of this effort. The Philadelphia Mint struck pennies without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint produced cents marked with a small d beneath the date, and both versions were created using large-scale, high-speed presses that sometimes resulted in subtle errors, die wear, and variations that collectors study today. The design itself carried deep symbolism. The obverse featured Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity, leadership, and endurance at a time when the United States was dealing with civil rights struggles, Cold War tensions, and the aftermath of President John F. Kennedy's assassination just months earlier. In late 1963, the reverse still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959, and within that design was the tiny seated statue of Lincoln, visible between the pillars, a remarkable artistic detail that made the Lincoln cent the first U.S. coin to show the same person on both sides. From a technical standpoint, the 1964 Lincoln penny was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a rich reddish tone when uncirculated and a deeper brown color. As it aged, weight, diameter, and thickness were consistent with earlier years, yet die fatigue and massive production runs created opportunities for double dies repunched. Mint marks off center strikes and weak details, especially on the memorial steps and lettering, and while most 1964 pennies are common and worth only face value when circulated condition, certain high-grade examples and error coins can command strong premiums, especially those with sharp strikes, full details, and original luster. Collectors today study the 1964 Lincoln penny not because it is rare in quantity, but because it represents the end of an era. It stands as one of the last Lincoln cents struck before copper became too valuable for everyday coinage, and before the mint was forced to rethink its materials, production strategies, and distribution methods. This penny tells the story of American industry, pressure, economics, and public behavior, all captured in a small 1-cent coin that passed through countless hands during one of the most transformative decades in U.S. history. As we continue deeper into this episode, we examine mint records, production numbers, die varieties, historical purchasing power, collector demand, grading standards, and real-world auction results, all to help you understand why the 1964 Lincoln penny remains a cornerstone coin for beginners and advanced collectors alike. And by the end of this journey, you will never look at a simple penny the same way again, because every coin carries history, and the 1964 Lincoln penny carries the weight of an entire era. If you enjoy deep professional coin history, like this, make sure to subscribe to Quarter Dollar Coin and stay with us as we uncover the real stories hidden in America's everyday money.